The latest Tucson has landed down under and Hyundai has overhauled it, not just by adding features, but also in terms of design. I mean, check this thing out.
They've managed to cleverly incorporate the latest design language from the lower, wider, cooler i30 sedan into an SUV and still make it look awesome.
However, the looks aren't everything.
Unlike the i30 sedan, the Tucson has a competitor in pretty much any lineup from almost all manufacturers in the world.
Compact SUVs are all the rage, and while that means we as buyers get to shop around more and cherry pick options, it also leaves the manufacturers in a tight spot of needing to offer more for a limited price.
So, the latest Tucson has a tough job, but looking at its latest design, it rocks.
Now, I've already mentioned how it incorporates the new design language, and the grille and headlights combo looks great, and they've cleverly added this upright illuminated section at the part where they overlap.
The i30 sedan has a similar overlap solution, but the lower front section doesn't need a feature like this one. On an SUV, it narrows down the grille and gives it a less horizontal feel, which is good. What you will notice is that when you switch off the headlights, they kind of disappear, making it look like one big grille.
The side also has the sharper creases of the new i30 sedan, which is, again, cleverly translated into the SUV language.
The angular solutions are also present on wheel arch cladding that gets a bit of a sharper look as well. The rear gets nice tail lights and that single stripe, once again similar to that of the i30 sedan.
In terms of engines, there are a few options. Now, there are hybrid variations of the Tucson in other countries, but no word yet on whether we'll be getting those here in Australia. I can't help but think we would be more of a priority if there were more incentives for buying less polluting vehicles, like most other markets have.
The engine options include a 2-litre turbo diesel all-wheel drive with 136 kilowatts of power and 400 newton meters of torque, a 2.5-litre naturally aspirated petrol engine with 141 kilowatts of power and 246 newton meters of torque, paired with an 8-speed automatic, and a 1.6-litre turbo petrol that will probably have a hybrid powertrain. The current specs give the combined power tearing of 171 kilowatts and 348 newton meters, but we don't know much about what kind of a cooperation the two systems will have. While we're not sure we'll have the hybrid, we can expect the 1.6-litre turbo in the non-hybrid setup that in other models gives 150 kilowatts of power and 265 newton meters of torque. Other engines that are confirmed for Australia include a 2-litre naturally aspirated petrol with 122 kilowatts of power and the mentioned 2-litre diesel. The gearboxes include a 6-speed automatic and 2 different dual clutch gearboxes.
On the inside, I can't go into too much detail because we don't know if this particular trim is one of the ones we'll be getting in Australia, but I can say that it looks very modern and completely new, and I already love this new steering wheel, which we also saw in the i30 sedan and the Sonata.
The rest of the interior is a bit more angular and definitely more spacious. The instrument cluster is one big configurable screen tucked away behind the steering wheel with next to no frame. This means there's nothing to protect it from the sun, but Hyundai told us they have some kind of a miraculous anti-glare film over both screens.
We'll see how good it is when we get the Tucson for an in-depth review.
The instrument cluster screen looks like it rests against this elevated section that continues over to the passenger side as well. In the middle, it hugs the central console controls and touchscreen. Although not obviously carried over, this is an idea somewhat reminiscent of the luxurious Jaguar XJ. It adds a bit of class here as well, and it's always good when you can compare your mid-level SUV to a luxury flagship sedan.
One thing that does look really nice, but I'm not a huge fan of within this context, is the center touchscreen. Now, the screen itself is awesome. It's very responsive and the image is great, but I just feel like with the entire cabin being more airy and elevated, I would have liked a higher position for the center touchscreen. That could just be me being picky because I'm used to it with the Tucson that I own. Oh, and I do love this digital dash that features here. I really hope that this comes to one of the Aussie trims that we get.
Gearbox controls, cup holders and armrests are grouped in one big section that's both functional and uncluttered. All in all, I love how organised and feature-packed and functional the interior is. Step into the rear and you'll see what uncluttered really means. Here we get the long wheelbase version, and it translates into great legroom and pushes the Tucson from the compact to mid-size SUV segment.
Headroom is also great, and there are other features here in the back, such as fold-down armrests with cup holders, rear air vents and chargers. The seats, of course, recline, and they probably recline more than any I've seen. I mean, look at this. I might just take a nap.
In terms of safety, the Tucson will offer the latest perks, of course, in some cases, depending on the trim level. Just some of the announced features include highway driving assist, forward collision avoidance assist with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, lane following assist, blind spot view monitor, blind spot collision warning, surround view monitor, reverse parking collision avoidance assist, remote smart parking assist, high beam assist, driver attention warning, blind spot collision avoidance assist with rear cross traffic collision avoidance assist, advanced smart cruise control with stop and go, and safe exit warning, to name a few. We often say that new versions of a model are a step up from the previous one, and they are. I mean, they add new tech, more safety features, improve the design and the engines.
Simply put, they follow the industry to stay relevant.
However, the first look of the new Tucson takes these improvements to a whole new level.
It's not just an improved version of the previous Tucson, but a whole new model that's clearly aimed at pitting the Tucson against some more luxurious models. And we'll see how this is reflected in terms of price. Thanks for watching Cartell TV. Now, once the new Tucson is released and we get our hands on it, we'll be sure to bring you a full review, so stay tuned. In the meantime, follow us on the socials, leave us comments, let us know what you'd love to see next.